All right. Oof, we're here. We are here. Sorry, my stuff looks a little bit different. There might have been an update, and it looks a little bit different. Welcome, everybody. Happy to have you on this Thursday. Thank you so much. Ed Toodle, welcome to the Pro Muppet. Welcome. Thank you. What's going on? Can y'all see me? There we go. Okay, good deal. All right, you can hear me? Everybody can hear me okay? Sorry. Can you all hear me okay? It just took a minute. For some reason it was delayed on the broadcast. It was just delayed for a second. So, yeah, good to see you all here. Welcome again. Ed Tutel, thank you for joining the Pro Muppet membership. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Matthew Fox, good to see you again. Steve, I know I'm a couple minutes late, and it took a second for the stream to pick up for some reason. I've turned the volume up, so hopefully on the input, for some reason I've noticed that it keeps turning down the volume to like 70 and 80 on the input instead of 100. So I've been checking it beforehand. So I think the volume is better this time. Let me know if it is. Thanks for pronouncing my name correctly. You're welcome. That's hard for me, but I got it. Jack, welcome. And thank you all to the members once again. If you join, you do get that sweet little badge, and more the longer that you stay. LeBron or MJ? Definitely MJ. Being from Chicago, there's no question. You had to experience it live to know how good Michael Jordan actually was. There is nothing like him since, and I doubt we will ever see anything like him in the future, to be honest. But you never know. Game's changed, part of the problem. Anyways, Tyrell badge. Yes, 50. You've got the Tyrell badge. There you go. Berge. I am never going to stop saying that I say that correct. I'm never going to. Yeah, one of the things that I do want to talk about first is hello from India, Satyajit. I hope I said that right. De Pereira, Satyajit. I hope that's about right. Hello from India. Good to see you. And everybody from all the way around. Really good to see you. Yeah, one of the things I did want to mention, I was listening to the Talk of the Devils guys, and I think they confirmed a hell of a lot of stuff that we've been talking about. One of the things we spent a while on the left back stuff in yesterday or the day before's video, maybe both. I probably did cover it in both. And I know it's pronounced Berge, but he said it's okay to say it the other way. We talked about left backs a lot the last few days, and all the different options and the things and all of that. And one of the things that that they confirmed that I've been saying for quite a while is on Malacia, that they are not confident whether he will be back ever really to full fitness this whole season. I think Laurie on the podcast said they're not counting on him at all to be fit for the year, but if he comes back and he's fit and he's fully there, then he will be. That would be a bonus, but they're not counting on him. And that is the truth of it. As I've been saying for some time, they really are not confident that Malacia will ever be to the level of fitness and robustness. That was the word robust that Laurie used there, which I thought was a good word, because I've tried to describe it like he might be fit enough to play, but there's a difference in whether he will ever be that fit again. And that robustness is a good word, because you need a different level of robustness rather than just being able to make it on the pitch in order to play at the highest level. And that is the concern with Malacia at this point in time, that he might not ever get back there. So, yeah, we will have to see where this goes in the future. But they're looking at affordable left backs. He had a surgery that did not go well, had to have another surgery, and I don't know, something wrong with him. And then there was another setback. It's kind of crazy because it didn't seem like it was that big a deal at first, but we never really heard. It's is a ligament injury, and usually in modern day you don't see injuries that put players out permanently. Nick Savage, evening from Staffordshire. Thank you, and thank you for being a part of the members. I don't know about retire, but you never know. Different levels to playing. It's different than Malacia, different than Phil Jones in that he's not just getting different injuries. He's the same one, is just not, like, his body's not repairing as well as they had hoped it would be. Okay, I've got a lot to talk about today. Get into, make sure to like and all of that on the video while you're sitting here. Get the views going up and things going round. I really will appreciate when you do that. It was very nice that a couple people suggested that, to push that, because it does actually help quite a lot in the engagement on the video. So I really appreciate when you all do that. Puck to the U.S. men's national team. That would be awesome. Are we worried? Vlado, welcome, and you've got the Tyrell badge too. Are we worried that he would be like Luke Shaw after his leg break? Potentially, yeah. Never fully fit again. That is a concern. We can do basketball talk a little bit later because I do want to get into a lot. Definitely. So yeah, that was the Malacia thing, and looking at a cheap, affordable left back. I did a lot of discussion yesterday about that on and Chilwell and some other potential names. I'm sure there are more, but the idea is get somebody in. And honestly, I was speaking about this with some people. I think that it could be Shaw's last season. It's not that they're not they don't rate Luke Shaw. They really do, and they really hoped that he would get up to the level of the player that they wanted him to be at. This injury is a concern because it already is showing that they're going to have trouble relying on him. These guys are not fucking around, to put it bluntly, and they're not going to buy. They're not going to sit on a player that they cannot rely on, and that's not to say he couldn't do a backup role. It's not to say he couldn't do a backup role, but it may be. Yeah, unfortunately. I was trying to change the camera setting because I know you mentioned that. It just does this weird color thing and it switches, and I have to solve it because I bought a new one and it does it too as well. I might just need to get one of those lighting things for my office because it really does not like the lighting in here, which isn't totally surprising. Maybe he could be a backup in the future, a rotation, but I think that later on... No, that was me. It does that for some reason when I open certain apps. It shows it on the screen instead of when I don't have anything set up. It's just an oddity with Streamlabs. That they'll look at a long term. We talked about names early in summer, Kirkes being one, and I think Fabrizio had actually confirmed that, but they haven't made a move. And I think that it'll be more next year. And no, honestly, look, I do it from my office. So yeah, the lighting being like the office kind of makes sense. This is me in my office. There you go. So yeah, he's going till 27. So I think he'd have to be, I think it'll have to be here, if I shift back and forward. Sometimes it changes it, sometimes it doesn't. The podcast will be next week. Phil's on vacation. That's why he's on holiday with his kids and all that. So we're going to let him do that. So the podcast will be back next week. So next year, I think a top left back will be a major focus. Okay, let's talk about the midfield. Let's get into it. I've spent enough time kind of chatting through, and I will walk through everything. On the midfield, the other thing that I have been hearing and that I've been pushing quite strongly, and I continue to get this confirmed, is that Ugarte and Berge continue to be that they continue to be the main targets for the midfield. They really do want to get a midfielder in. They want to address this. This is the major priority at the moment, and there are a few things up in the air right now. Number one, the prices and how this all comes into play. Ugarte, the asking price, 60 million euros, is not going to work. Now, there's a lot of talk from Fabrizio, from others about PSG, and and Jorge Mendes working on this. When Enrique's left him out of training, and they've got João Neves, and they're working on Doué, or they have him maybe, there's not a lot of, they need to sell. They need to sell. They need to do something to change this and to sell. They've just got to. They've got to sell. They've got to do something with him. And I don't think that Mendes would take too kindly to them leaving one of his players out for a full year, not in the plans of the club, simply because they can't go down 10 to 15 million on euros. Their leverage is really poor in this perspective, different to our situation with Jadon Sancho, because we have Sancho's in the team, and he's playing, and he will play, and he will be in the squad very regularly if he stays. So they have very, very little leverage there. But the price at the moment is too high. The next midfielder that we're looking at is Sander Berge. And I did a video this morning, 12 minutes, pretty short, just going over the style of Sander Berge, what kind of player he is. And in a lot of ways, I can see why he would be, an alternative to Ugarte. There's a lot of similarities with him, and there's a lot of similarities to him in terms of his in-possession traits. And then, out of possession, there's differences, but there's a lot of strengths there that he has. I can see why they want him. When you look at what they're looking for in a six, I think that he could make a lot of sense, as does Ugarte. So the issue there is that Burnley's initial asking price was in the range of £30 million. United do not want to pay £30 million for him. That is definitely over their value. Now, there's another factor that comes into this, why they are being a little bit cheap. I don't know what the word would be. It should be as I understand it, but why they're being a little bit cheaper, even though there's a position of need. And it's because, as I would gather it, Ugarte is not necessarily like 100% the long-term guy, okay? They need 2 to 3 midfielders over the next few years, okay? So he's one of them that they really like. Sander Berge is one of them that they really like. Ugo Chukwe from Chelsea, yeah, I would actually take him. He's quite good. But, I don't think anybody is viewed as that unmissable prospect like we said with Euro, like we said with Xerxes at the price points and the profile that they bring. Who is? Well, I've said this before, and I'm kind of going to double down on this. Adam Wharton. And that there is certainly a view, I've said this many, many times in recent weeks and months, that United really like Adam Wharton. And I'm like I say, I'll double down on this, that obviously it's a long year, it's a long season and all of that, but that United will potentially be looking for a deal to him next summer, and then that might be the player that they would like to get. So, that would make sense because he's going to be quite expensive. This year he's just not for sale. It's not happening. Palace don't need to sell. They're sold Elise. They're selling Guehi, all of that. Adam Wharton, another one United definitely missed out on prior to new ownership. So, but one that they would want to correct. And that was the old owners not wanting to do that. They like him. He's going to be quite expensive. The people who like him. And he's going to be quite expensive in the future. We turned down a lot of players due to ownerships. I told you before that Joel Glazer heavily involved in decision making. And so there's a lot of options. To Liverpool, most likely, no doubt, will go to Chelsea for 100. He might. You never know. It is possible. He's going to be very expensive. There's going to be a lot of teams after him, and a lot of teams looking for midfielders. Not just Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, who else, right? So, yeah, there's going to be a lot on Wharton in the future. United want to get a midfielder regardless. If they can sell someone it would help make it easier. It would also help make it so that they can get to potentially other positions. Joel is not involved in any of the football decision makings at all at this point in time. And so my understanding was that if they sold one, there would still only be one midfielder. Okay, if they sold two, maybe that changes. Maybe then they do need two midfielders. You'd be pretty thin, I think. If you sold two, you would only have, well, Collier could make that difference up even still. Casemiro's a backup. Collier's a backup by a starting six. You've still got six midfielders. So maybe, I'm not sure. On McTominay, they are absolutely still considering whether to sell him. There's definite interest from Napoli. He would be interested in moving there, but they need to offer some money. You know, as it was reported by DiMarzio and such, that they'd only offered at that point a loan, and that was it. And that's not enough for United. United would want to sell him for 25 million or so. They would accept that. So I think if Napoli can sell, Osimhen, and if that happens, then they will make their move. Then they will make their move for McTominay if they can get the funds. So, you know, he's still looking for options. United's still looking at options, and that would definitely help them to fund, you know, the moves that they're looking at, as well as you know, the funds that they're looking at, as well as potentially in other areas, because they're still interested in, you know, center back, they're still interested in left back. And even though those may not be stories for this summer. So, yeah, it's a little bit up in the air right now. United want to get a midfielder no matter what, though, okay? That we can think with. They want to get a midfielder no matter what. They're still talking to Berge. They're still talking to Ugarte. They're still moving forward on these deals and seeing which one would make sense. They do need the prices to come down in both instances to see about getting one. And then they're going to have to see if anybody presents a valid offer for McTominay. And as well Christian Eriksen, because certainly you're not going to get much for Eriksen, but getting his wages off would definitely help financially to relieve some burden and to allow for some more spending. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen, as well as it was reported. He's not really so much in the plans, someone who's going to be playing a lot this year, and so, you know, that would be something that would help. I still think we'll get Ugarte in the end. I think that they have to come down, and I think he's the top target, and we'll get it done. So, you know, I did this whole, like, thing yesterday of drawing out, like, showing all of the ways that they move, the way that they're planning, the way that they're thinking. And I think if they get a midfielder this year, next year they're going to go for another center back, another midfielder, another left back. And that would be it. And then depending on how people perform, they would have to look at other positions and see, do we need more players or not? You know, if players don't perform up to the level expected, if there's other injuries or something like that, then, you know, that could change the view. But those would be the things to finish the team, and that could be done next summer. But they would be big signings potentially next summer, you know, if they can get top players, same thing. So, yeah, in the end, I think we'll still get Ugarte. It's still a very active situation, but the interest in Sander Berge is definitely genuine. January business could happen, but it would be depending on probably some outs, or if we don't finish all our work now and there was a good opportunity. But usually the prices aren't great in January. I would say it's more like emergency time. But yeah, I do think towards the end of the window it's going to come down on Ugarte. I just cannot see him sitting there for that long. And if there's nobody else interested, then who knows? You know, on Braithwaite, could be. I think we'll have to make sales for that to happen. But yeah, so a lot up in the air on the midfield, but it is an incredibly live, an incredibly active situation, you know, in their pursuit, and I'm still pretty confident in it. There's other little sales that we can make to improve things, like we've discussed before, Pellistri, Hannibal, you know, all of those. Not heard anything genuinely happening on Rabiot, sorry to say, if you want him. Just haven't heard that they're that interested. So yeah, Maguire, Braithwaite swap at 35 million to Everton. Yeah, maybe. I don't think that'll happen, but as I said yesterday, we could still pursue it. I wouldn't say 100% we sign a midfielder, because the the way we're approaching things is we pay what we value a player at, or we don't. On Matthijs de Ligt, let's talk about that, because that's a good segue into the next one. We waited, right? We waited because it was supposed to be an opportunity price. It was supposed to be an opportunity price. We wanted to see it as an opportunity. We wanted to get an opportunity. And we did. If you look back to early on in the discussions, I said that the view of it was something like 35 million pounds up front, rising to somewhere in the range of that 50 million euros total. And in the end, they got it pretty close to that. They paid a bit more up front, but got the total value correct, 50 million euros total. That was the price I'd said all along. Bayern were asking for 50 million base plus add-ons. They didn't want to pay that. They didn't want to do that. They waited until that price came down. But the other factor that makes De Ligt a better deal and, is really nice about it is that it's also one that's, in terms of his opportunity and wage on Matthijs de Ligt, understandably to be smaller, lower than it might have seemed at first. Now, he was on over 300,000 a week in terms of euros at Bayern, and as I can gather it, I believe he's on closer to 200,000 pounds at United. And there's obviously a lot of permutations that go into these contracts, but somewhere in that range. And so I think that's a fair amount for a player of his caliber, who will very likely be what's the word for it? Starting pretty regularly for some time, especially while Lenny Yoro's out. But even afterwards, I think we're going to see a lot of different ways in there with the center backs. I think we'll see De Ligt and Lenny Yoro play together in the future. No doubt about that. I think we will. And so I think that is okay. Mazraoui, I have no idea. But for a long time, someone I've been talking to had been, saying, look, it's going to be about the opportunity. And from the agent and from the player, they were pushing it like, look, we're going to give a good price on all of this. And so just getting that fee down for Bayern, I think, makes it a very good deal. So in the end, I think we got a really good opportunity price for Matthijs de Ligt. I think that's a real positive, something that we can take from this and say, it fits within things. Overall, between his wage, Yoro's wage, Xerxes' wage, and Mazraoui's wage, it probably about equals the wages of Varane and Martial, which was something like total 550. So I think 200 for De Ligt, 150, 125 or so each for Yoro and Xerxes, and a little bit and more for Mazraoui, 100 maybe in there, and we're probably totaling what we were paying Varane and Martial. So what we got from that in return, from a wages perspective, is crazy, but it also shows you can do so much more without necessarily increasing the wage bill. And when you factor in the sales of Mason Greenwood, what will probably be Victor Lindelof, not big wages on some of the other people who departed, then you're Wan-Bissaka, you're probably lower on wages right now with adding all these players than we were before the summer. And that is a huge positive. Bruno Fernandes, I understand, in his contract, it's a bump in wages, but not a significant one on the base. There are, however, much bigger incentives that could certainly take him to a very high earner, some personal, some team-based. He's still got a good wage. Like, he's still among the top earners now with his new contract, but he certainly could be the top earner. Halftime Oranges, thank you for the donation. If still chasing Braithwaite and have MDL plus Euro in center back, does that signal low long-term plan confidence in Ligt? No, I think that they want to have four in general, especially with Braithwaite being able to cover the left side, 2 left footers, 2 right footers, proper balance, young players who can develop. I think there's maybe a concern. I've said before, look, Lissandro is a really top player. One of my favorite players at United right now, for sure. I love his aggression. I love how physical he is and all of that. He is a limited player because he doesn't have necessarily the physical traits of some of the other players. And having more options and more flexibility helps a lot. De Ligt is taller. Yoro's taller and faster. Braithwaite is taller and faster. So it's giving you a lot of different options, but Lissandro's the best player in possession by far, right? So it's just flexibility of options and pairings and all of that. And you know, Lissandro, I think you have to play a certain way where the other player's a little more flexible. And so, you know, I think the other factor is you don't have anyone who brings that left-footedness to the table, pretty simply. So, you know, getting 4 in is great. You know, then Lissandro, he had his injury. You don't want him to have to play every single minute like he's got to, or the whole team falls apart. You know, we don't want to see that. So yeah, but it's also lowering the age profile too, right? You move Maguire on, you sign Braithwaite, you've lowered the age profile of the squad significantly. And you've set yourself up to where you have a team for 5, 6, 7 years where you're just replacing, you know, a couple players at a time. And that's the way that it goes. And frankly, that's not that, you know, that's not too dissimilar to how Sir Alex got the team when it was at its best. It wasn't massive overhauls every year. It shouldn't be. You don't need that. That's not when you're at your best. You want to set the team up right, and then you want to make minimal changes every single season as you have young players who continue to improve. And that was a huge part of the strength of United for a long time, and what we need to get back to. So that seems to be the focus and the overall, you know, direction that we want to go in. So, you know, De Ligt was top choice in helping with that. Maybe not the top choice, but a top choice in assisting. But they still want Braithwaite. They got Yoro. You know, Todibo would have been, you know, one of the things, just to be clear, you know, if they signed Todibo, they wouldn't be signing De Ligt right now, right? That was all blocked. It was gonna be Yoro or Braithwaite, and Todibo, top 3, but it doesn't matter. De Ligt is a great player. Very excited about him. Very excited about him. Way back when we were initially linked at the start of the Muppeteers, you know, back in the day, it was his leadership, his mentality, his maturity was definitely one of the major factors the teams looked at, and he still has that. Steve, can I ask how we're spending money when we apparently don't have much to spend? Good balanced deals and profitable sales, you know. We've spent about 100 million euros total, but net rather. We've spent 160, I think, or 150. But the sales that we have, 60 million euros, mostly profit. If you look at Mason Greenwood, the young players, Wan-Bissaka, a lot of profit. So I think we've gotten something like 40 million in profit. That covers a lot of spending and gives us a lot of room to move here. And like I mentioned with the wages, we've actually cut our wages, which factors into FFP and PSR. So in general, we're probably coming out positively at the moment from this window compared to where we were before, financially still. And that's with these good sales. Now, when we move Lindelof on, if we move McTominay on, it's even better. We have even more there. Eriksen's wages. You can get a player. You could get Sander Berge in for the fee and the wages covered by Eriksen's wages. Absolutely, you can. That's the crazy part about it. So, it's been big. It's been big. Braithwaite will surely be a target next year. Yeah. Yes. Can I ask? Yes. Okay, I answered that, Steve. Sorry you had to repeat yourself. All in all, the Ineos impact has been so simple but professional. Because it's finally about football. Correct. And that's why we also aren't overvaluing players. Like, if you look at every single one of them, I mentioned this and kind of showed this with a calculator. I'm not going to pull it up right now. If you buy a player like, let's say, De Ligt, and we paid 45 million euros, in 2 years, 27 million is his book value. Easy to move him. Mazraoui, in 2 years, his book value is 8-9 million. Easy to move him. Xerxes' book value would be 20 million. Really easy to move him. 25 maybe. The player Yoro is the most expensive. In 2 years, his book value would be 30 million for a young player. So if it doesn't work, it's going to be easier to overhaul, to move and not lose money and do it all again, and to keep getting things. So yeah, it's smart on a few fronts, not buying huge players. And that's one of the reasons that City, and you can see the impact of Barada, is one of the reasons that City doesn't like to spend, like, buy huge players. Like, they bought somewhere they feel they're guaranteed, like in Erling Haaland, right? Jack Grealish was certainly an overpay. They can't shift him because of the fee that they paid. But in general, they built their club on 40, 50 million signings because it's easier to turn around and sell those players if it doesn't work. It just is. And they're still at a good age bracket. So that seems to be certainly some of the approach, you know, this summer as well, and the direction that has changed overall. So it is a little bit different. That question, they're changing the PSR rules to allow you to spend 85% of revenue. It's actually going to be lower than that. It doesn't really affect us. That cap is not our problem. Yeah, that cap is not our problem. Okay. So I'll answer a few questions. Then I want to do a couple predictions and talk about the lineup tomorrow, talk about some of the players. Yeah. So any more questions just about what I've discussed so far on the players and where we're at and what we're focusing on? Because make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Yeah. As I said, we're definitely going for Ugarte. Now, Fabrizio just put out a podcast, and he's been talking a lot on Ugarte. So if anybody fast forwards to that section where if he says anything about Man United midfielder that he put, I'd definitely be curious to hear it, because I feel he'll be one of the first people to hear about on Ugarte if there's any changes. Just for what it's worth. I just noticed that. I was just checking my phone. Yes, did I see the Ligt training video? Yeah, very, very vocal player. A lot of leadership for sure. Eriksen could leave. We just need those offers. Casemiro sold, extremely unlikely. If an offer comes in, yes, but nobody from Saudi has. Speak for that promotion vid. I don't know what that means. The Snapdragon deal's extended. Yeah, I think they're really happy with the tour. They're really happy with United and all of that. Amrabat, oh, yeah, Fofana. You know, I'm going to I'd ask for a pat on the back on that one. I've said for quite a long time, not really a target for United. They let him go for very little. Yeah, I thought it would be a repeat, Richie. Just, you never know. I'm always curious to see if something new comes out. Rayner's job. Yeah, where is Rayner? He should be here to tell me that I'm repeating myself too. Fofana, not somebody. Discussions for Ugarte next week. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, see, we're still working on it. We're focused on the game at the weekend. That's pretty normal. And then, you know, we don't want to throw things up, and then we'll see where it goes. How much does getting a midfield signing impact your predictions? A lot. So we'll check that in a second. But yeah, Fofana, somebody is not interested. And if you go watch my Ugarte video and you watch my Sander Berge one from this morning, I think it's pretty obvious why. Just profile-wise, not what they want. Not what they're looking at for the most part. Highly aggressive, more of almost an attacking 8, where they want a high defending, you know, safe possession player. That's the theme of Sander Berge and Ugarte in possession. Safer players that kind of move the ball to the other players, but also hit those long passes, those big switches quite well. He talks about Sander Berge and Ugarte, the options, PSG and United working to find agreement. Okay, so what I've heard and what I've been saying. Got it. All right, so everybody's agreeing with that. Amrabat not returning. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I don't think they were pretty keen on him. He's a down the list option. Like a fallback kind of option is where it is. And so I think that most of what I've said on the midfield, even though it's been messy, has definitely kind of come through, and hopefully we'll get one of our two main ones now. Nothing on Javi Guerra. Podcast with Phil will be next week. I mean, yeah, you're correct. 50 million euros does seem like too much for PSG. For a player, like, why should they not take a loss? But partially it's because he's just not in the fit of the manager. It's not about being a bad player. And I think that that's fair in that respect. What happens if Mainu gets injured? I know. Well, that's why we need at least one midfielder. On Kadioglu, we were interested, but isn't he about close to going to Brighton now? We were interested in him, but very competitive and very expensive. I think we'll want to look at it next time. Yeah, the third kit is amazing. I'm waiting till our window's closed, and then I will be buying one. And depending on who it is, Ugarte or Rashford or someone like that for sure. Yes, I mentioned earlier Adam Wharton. They're definitely interested for the long term. A lot of positivity all around from the club and the team. You know, and when Ten Hag says, like, they're not ready, he's not talking about training being bad or anything like that. He's just talking about the general gist of summer, you know, where you have an international tournament, not everybody's together, you have some injuries, and, you know, everybody's dealing with it. That's all. Nobody's ready for the season to start, honestly. I think we're more prepared than a lot of teams. Eric Ten Hag has thought about playing a 2 up top diamond formation. Xerxes can play on the wing, so we can play together. Now, that one's a bit weird. Xerxes never played on the wing. I think Rasmus could play on the wing, but a 2 up top doesn't really change that. I think it'd be more likely Rasmus plays on the wing than Xerxes. Xerxes is not a winger, not in the slightest. Rasmus has more winger traits with his speed and the way that he plays. Any leads on Pellistri and Hannibal leaving? Not what I said before. Yeah, I do want the Ugarte kit. I love that style of midfielder, and I think that aggressive player would be awesome. I really like him. Cool. So pushing for okay, cool. All right, well, good. But let's do it. Let's do something fun here, okay? And then you can all. What I want to do first is I'm going to do this Premier League prediction, and I'll talk about, you know, what I think, but also just like depending on everything, right? Yeah, midfield is the priority. And look, there might be more loan options for sure. I don't know of a ton of loan options. Let me move this up. I don't know of a ton of loan options. I mentioned, you know, Chilwell and such, which I know nobody likes, which is fine. But yeah, I really don't want. I think Mazraoui will play over there. I think Mazraoui will definitely be the one to play over there. So predictions. What do we got? What do we got? Do we start at the bottom? Was that the way to do it? Starting at the bottom. Easy first relegation. Easy first relegation. Leeds, 100% easy. I don't think that they're ready. I do not think that they are prepared for what is to come. Who else? Easy. Leeds not there. Leicester. Leeds aren't. Yeah, why does this one have? This one doesn't have Leeds. That's what. Wait, hold on a second. They're not even in the Prem. I'm getting my years mixed up. This one has the wrong one. I need to find. How do I change this? This is you don't have the right ones here. Hang on a second. Give me a second to find it. They're not even in. I was like, wait, yeah, it's Southampton. It's Southampton. Yeah, you're right. It's Southampton. Hold on, let me see if I can find one. Real quick. If you have a link for one, Premier League table. Here we go. Does this have Southampton? There it is. All right, I got it. Yeah. I was like, wait, because I remember them being in the playoffs, and then, so I was thinking about them. Yeah, someone did it before. Someone did it before the playoffs. Yeah, someone did it before the playoffs. All right. Okay, this one is correct, right? Let's see. Ipswich. Yeah, this one is correct. Right? Am I missing anybody this time? I think we've got it. All right. I'm going to say Southampton. I know Russell Martin says that everyone's writing them off. So am I. Let's see. Who else is getting relegated? We're going to toss Everton in there. Good luck to them. Enjoy. We'll be taking Braithwaite off your hands for cheap next season. And then I think it'll be Leicester. Yeah, I don't think they have the players I think those are your bets. I don't think Brentford get relegated. I don't think they get relegated. Ipswich, I think is going to stay. Ipswich, I think, is going to stay up. I think they'll stay up. I really rate McKenna. In fact, I'm going to boldly stick them in here in the 8 to 12 range. They're going to ride this high. They're going to ride this high. You will see it. You will see it. You will see it. Okay? I'm going to put Forest down here. Brentford down here. I don't think they have a great team. They don't. I know, but you never know, man. You never know. You never know. I'm riding the McKenna train till it crashes and burns. Okay. I'm riding the McKenna train till it crashes and burns. I'll put Bournemouth in there. I think they'll be in that range. Have Palace. Palace we're gonna put in here too. How many teams do I need here? I think Brighton. I feel like Brighton are gonna struggle. I think Brighton are gonna struggle. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. There's definitely crossover here. I understand Southampton have a better team, but Thomas Frank does really well to set them up for the Premier League to maintain. Brighton have bought well, you know, and they might swap like Bournemouth in them. I don't know. But they have a new manager, and I just feel that they're going to struggle a little bit. Fulham. Have Fulham done any business? Have Fulham done any business? I understand Brighton have done well, but I don't know. I think they're going to struggle. I feel like I'm missing somebody. That's it. I feel like I'm missing a player, a team. These tier lists, man, they gotta sort this out. I feel like I'm missing somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I've got everybody. It's just Tottenham are tiny. Wolves will be down here too. All right, that's what I've got there. Yeah, Tottenham is hard to see. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. No, there's 20. Conference League. Let's go Chelsea. I think they're going to struggle again. I think they're going to struggle with the new manager, with all the changes. I don't think they can get better than 7th this year. Newcastle. I need another one in here, don't I? Let's do Chelsea. Newcastle. I'm gonna be bold on this, okay? I don't think Newcastle are that good. Well, you're right. It needs more teams. It does. It needs more teams. It needs another team in here too. I need more in the second lowest. Yeah, West Ham above Chelsea. I think West Ham are doing pretty good business. I'm going to move more around. I'm just trying to think this through. I'm going to put Spurs. Arsenal in there. Let's move Bournemouth down here. Leave Chelsea in here. Move them here. Move Newcastle down. I just don't rate them like that. Aston Villa into here. Now, here's where it's depending. Okay? Here's where everything is depending on it, okay? It's the midfield. This is today. I think we could squeeze 4th, but I also think we could win Europa League at the same time. I think we can squeeze 4th. I think Tottenham have a really good project, and Solanke was a really, really, really good buy. Okay? Um, we'll see. We'll see. There's teams. Yeah, 2 are 3 teams. That's how it's supposed to be, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not in order here, but I do think we could squeeze 4th. I think that Tottenham bought a really good player. I think that they'll get 3rd. I don't think he's going to flop. I think he's a very, very good. I think he's a very good striker. Really, really good buy. I think Tottenham have a really good team. Underrated. I'm not saying 2nd. This isn't in order, okay? In here, it's not in order. Just to be clear. This is not in order, okay? This is not in order. It's just in here. They're just in these brackets. Aston Villa have a really good team. That's the thing. They've bought a lot. This could be any which way. Okay, that's not important to me. I'm putting them. That's why it's in these brackets for me. It's not left to right. I think Liverpool are going to struggle dealing with a Dutch manager that they have not had before. They're going to struggle with the same things that we've struggled with. I think Chelsea have overhauled their squad too much still, and they have. I think Villa would be better if they didn't have Champions League, but they do, and they've signed a lot of good players. They've made good moves. Solanke is a baller. He's really good. West Ham have made good moves. Wan-Bissaka's going to do really well for them with the way that they play. Yeah. For us, there's a lot of variance. I mean, a lot of variance, and it's about the midfielder. I think we've got a shot at top 4 without a midfielder. Emery's a really good manager, yeah. If we get a midfielder in, then I think we will cement ourselves into top 4. And all bets are off. I mean, look, here's the straight facts, okay? If we get a midfielder in, I'm starting the discussion, okay? I'm starting the discussion. If we get a midfielder in, I am happily going to just start to say we're going to win. We're going to win the league. We're going to go for it. If we get a midfielder in, I am going for it. Will it happen? Absolutely not. But we're going for it. If we get a midfielder in, then United are winning the league. Okay, that's it. That's the reality. That's what we're going for. That's what we got. That's it. That's the take, and we stand by it. If not, at the same time, we could easily get 7th. No joke. But we'll see. After tomorrow, if we win, that high is going to be very, very high, right? So let's do it. Let's leave that as the final one, okay? Screenshot it. Go for it. It doesn't matter. We're having fun with this. So that's my pick. That is my pick for United to win the league if we get that midfielder in. Fortunately, we'll get to wait and see how we do with Fulham. So the title charge starts tomorrow. But I think, honestly, if we get a midfielder in, we will be able to, a 6, an Ugarte in, then we cement ourselves into top 4 and winning the Europa. And that should be the aim. Top 4 and win the Europa. That should be the goal. That should be the aim. If Martinez gets injured, finishing 7th, no, I don't think so. Matthijs de Ligt, Lenny Yoro, we've got good players coming. I really don't rate Chelsea right now. They had a good team. They messed it up, letting go of Pochettino. Maresca's going to be out of his depth with all these players. Look at the shit they're dealing with. Like, the racist stuff, you can say it's all fine, and you've made him captain. Sure. For Enzo Fernandez, you've got Bissouma. That's Tottenham. But, you've just got a mess. Caicedo's been awful. They have a mess. They have a mess on their hands at Chelsea, and they haven't figured it out yet. And so I don't rate Chelsea at all. And that Bissouma thing, by the way, is wild for Tottenham. That's a crazy thing to have happen. Yeah, I know. Making a public racist your captain is absolutely crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. What they've done to Gallagher, what they're doing to others, it's not going to work. That dressing room is a mess. It's going to be very unhappy. So, anyway, yeah, they made him captain. I can't believe that. So, we'll see. Based on the midfield, we will see. But I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. Now, on the lineup for tomorrow, we're going to do, yeah, they suspended him for laughing gas. But on the lineup for tomorrow, I want to do this. We're going to do this two ways. First, I'm going to do my prediction, okay? I'm going to do my prediction, what I think we will do for the lineup. And then based on what I've seen, and then I'm going to have you guys vote player by player as we go. I love to do the little polls and build the team for Fulham yourself, because I'm really curious what would chat pick. So this is for the lineup against Fulham. And yes, I will do a pre-match live. I will also be doing a watch along on that same platform, and there is a link below to sign up for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll be here at my office, and definitely come join and watch that. It'll be a lot of fun. But let's look at the lineup. What do we think here? Where are we starting? Here we go. Okay. So here's what I predict. Okay. I think we get Xerxes in there. We get him going. I think we get that Rashford is going to start on the left. I know people are going to yell at me about that. I think that Garnacho will start. I didn't say it's what I want. I said, yes, it'll be on Tifo. And I will have a better mic than usual on Tifo because I will be here with this one. So it should sound great. I'm just telling you what I think. It's going to be Kabi, of course. It's going to be Casemiro. I think we get Mazraoui. I think we get, of course, Lissandro is a shoo-in. I think that the Ligt will start. I think we're going to go straight for it. I think, of course, Dallo and Onana. Okay? This is what I think our lineup will be. That's what I think our lineup will be. Okay? This is a very good team. Okay? I understand why people might have some concerns. With the false nine, I'm just going to say this. Okay? There is a way Ahmad doesn't start, because he might not. There is a way. What are the questions? Okay, what are the questions for me? What are the questions for me? The questions are if Xerxes is ready, since he hasn't played at all. But he did play in the closed door friendly. And I see what you're saying, Lewis. I saw that as well, and I'll get to that because those are my questions. Xerxes plays in closed door friendly. I think that's a possibility. So that's a question. This could be Bruno, and this could be Mount. That's question one. I think that when we play with the false nine setup, which we've been doing all summer, it's more likely to be Rashford and Garnacho out wide when they're both there and fit. I don't think Rashford's going to start at striker. He doesn't want to. They don't want him to. With the false nine setup, this is more the way that we've been playing. So there's a question there. Sure, could Ahmad start? Yes. But Garnacho was a starter to end last season. Why should he lose his place? Let me just ask you that. I'm not saying Ahmad doesn't deserve to play. Okay? I'm not saying that. Why does Garnacho not deserve to start? His last professional game for us was helping us win the FA Cup, starting on the right wing. Why does Garnacho not deserve to start? I want an explanation for that. Not why should Ahmad play, because I'm in agreement. Why does Garnacho not deserve to start? Garnacho had 30 minutes of game experience, yes. He's also 20 years old or 19 years old and scored last week and trained with the national team for a long time. He's not exactly not fit. I wouldn't consider Garnacho to be a player who's going to be a slow starter. He's fit. I understand he maybe not be match fit, but Garnacho's the starter. He was the starter. It's his position. It's his position, and he looked really good. I expect he'll start. So that's why I'm saying that. I don't think Garnacho there's much of a case to drop him. Okay, that's why I'm saying that. And I think that positionally they're gonna stick with what they have. I think here is pretty much guaranteed that it's Kabi and Casemiro. I think it'll be Mazraoui on the left, but obviously it's a question of does Dalot go on the left and Mazraoui to the right? And then the question is, does Maguire play? Because the Ligt hasn't had a big preseason. Okay, that much is correct. He has not had a big preseason. Maguire has. Maguire was taken off for safety. So those would be my questions. Is it Bruno and Mount? Is it Maguire? Are these flipped? Could you have a change in the wings? But otherwise, that's what I think. That's what I think we're going to be. That's what I think we will see out of the team on tomorrow. And tomorrow morning we'll see. I really don't think Lissandra will play left back. I really don't. The closed door game was just an inter-squad one. It was between some of the younger players and some of the senior players. So yes, we won. We couldn't lose. We could have drawn actually, but not that important. Mount will be fine, and he'll play, and I think we will substitute a lot in this game. So that's what I have on the team. Now, I want to do your team. I want to vote through this. I want to vote through this. Can we discuss my fantasy Premier League? Is it terrible? I am awful, and I mean absolutely awful at fantasy. It's just not something that clicks for me in the slightest. Not at all. So let's vote, because rather than just read options, I want to see all of your opinions. Let's vote, okay? Let's start at striker. We're going to do a poll for each one of these. At striker, are we doing Bruno or Xerxes? Okay. Steve, mine was actually just for Patreons, is just a private one. But I might make a public one here shortly as well. All right, Bruno or Xerxes, and I want you to put who you want. Who you want. Vote. I'm going to give it a very short amount of time, and I'm going to let chat build it. Tell me who you want, not who do you think, who do you want? And I'm not giving you other options, because I don't think Rashford is a genuine striker option for the club at this point in time. I will do Onana and Altair. All right, so we've got Xerxes winning pretty heavily at 80%. So we're going to put Joshua Xerxes. They need to fix that badge for United. Okay, next poll. We are going to do, left wing. Rashford. Sancho. Garnacho. I'm going to do that. And I think you guys have this very wrong on the whole Garnacho on the left thing, because he struggled there. And he really made his mark last season when he played on the right. That's my opinion. But you vote. You tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. I'm going to give it like 20 more seconds. So far, Rashford pretty clearly winning. Sancho not getting a lot of votes. I shouldn't be surprised by that, though. Jump anyone who says Sancho. People need to stop hating Sancho so much. Come on now. Look, they definitely both struggled. That's my point. You're not getting better out of Garnacho putting him on the left. He made his mark off the bench, then on the right. When he started on the left, he was really poor at the beginning of the season. Really poor. I'm not giving him a hard time. It is an impossible position until you have a fullback over there, and I hope that we will. I hope that we will have a fullback for the first time in a year to play with our motherfucking left winger. It pisses me off so much, and I cannot wait to see us actually have a fullback over there. Okay, let's end it there. Rashford has won 64%. Good job. You guys made the smart choice. At the 10, this is a pretty obvious one. Bruno, Mount, we're not going to let this take too long because I doubt that anybody will be not picking. I'm sure Bruno Fernandes is winning this one. I hope Rashford gets better, but it's not a weak excuse. It's not a weak excuse. I know people do not want to accept it. They do not want to accept it. They don't want to believe it. Go watch the Community Shield again and watch how much support the right winger gets. Watch how much support the right winger gets from the fullback. Watch it. Watch it in the end of the year. Watch it at the end of the season. It's game-changing. It is absolutely game-changing. It is absolutely game-changing. All right, Bruno Fernandes has won that one quite obviously with a lot of votes. We know, new contract, Capitan. All right, on the right wing, are we going Garnacho? I'm curious here. I feel like it's going to be Ahmad, and I get it, but this is a tight one. This is going to be a close one. I am not sure who's going to win here. Well, holy cow. Oh, no, I'm incredibly surprised by how one-sided this is. You need to put some respect on Garnacho's name. My goodness. Oh, where's Anthony? Definitely not in the team. That's where he is. On the bench. I love the support for Ahmad. I love him. I think he potentially is our best player in that position. But damn, that's vicious. You guys are vicious. I think you're using preseason form to choose a player, and I think that's a dangerous game. And that's a dangerous game. Preseason Pirlo we used to have, right? We used to have preseason Pirlo. The right back support was the reason we beat City in the final. Exactly. Exactly. And by the way, Rashford did quite well, even isolated on the left there, running down, keeping Kyle Walker busy and hitting the big switch to Garnacho. All right, Ahmad it is. Ahmad it is. I'm not going to do the midfield because there's... Here, I'm going to do Kabi Menu. There's no point voting. There's no point voting, so I'm sorry. But I'm going to do the number 6. There's just no point voting. There's absolutely no point voting. We're going to do Casemiro, Collier, or Scott. Here. I'm wondering if Collier's going to get votes from you guys. I put Scott in there. 1% Scott. Correct, David. Preseason Pirlo, Andreas Pereira, incredible preseason player. Looked insane every year and then fell off a cliff. Casemiro's winning pretty heavily. Ban whoever. I can't see who voted, fortunately for them. The 2% of people who voted for McTominay. Needs Shaw's dump truck to distract the opposition fullback. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it was automatic goals. You know, it was automatic when when Shaw, thinking of two players who haven't played much, Shaw and Rashford playing on the left together. Margin of error is 2%. That explains Scott. Okay. Casemiro's winning this one pretty handily as well. Not surprised there. Okay, Ricky from the United States voted for Scott. I know it. Anthony in at left back. All right, let's do it. No, if I do this, I feel like you guys are gonna troll. Let's do Anthony. No, let's do Mazraoui. I'm curious if you guys think now if I put Dallo and Mazraoui here, understand that I'll obviously put the other one on the other side. Here, I'm going to give you guys 4 options. Inevitable Scott goal to win us the game. Oh, that is so funny. Probably not wrong, to be honest. You never know. Amos is probably not going to be in the team, so That's why I didn't include him, like not in the squad. So just to be realistic, he's not gonna play, guys. I'm sorry to say, he did not. He would have played in the Community Shield if we were going to use him in the Premier League right now. Dallo was good at left back, bearing in mind Mazraoui is more two-footed, much more two-footed. Hamas is not gonna play. He's not gonna play. Me and James are voting Republican. This guy is crazy, dude. Man. All right. Let's end it there. You guys want to do this every week, by the way? You want to do this every week in the pre-match? I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to see the shifting opinions. I could show last week's at the end and see if it changes. I think it would be fun. Now, left center back is going to be Lissandro. We don't have a question on that one, so I'm sticking him in there too. He's a nailed on one for that side. Dallo is also just to speed it up a little bit. We know that Dallo is our right winger if Mazraoui is our left winger. Okay, so then the question is here. Maguire. I mean, this is pretty obviously, I think people are going to vote for Ligt. Put me down for Johnny Evans. I'll make a note. Thank you. I know people are going to pick Ligt. People don't rate Maguire in this world, but and that's fair. That's fair. I don't know if Ligt is fit enough to start, but done. Close it now. Yeah. No, this would be fun. We do this every single week. We can predict it. We can put it together. We can do a prediction and a vote, and then we'll do another prediction and a vote, and we'll see how it changes game to game as people's opinions change. I think that'd be really fun. No, I'm not. I think Ligt is a better player than Maguire. But yeah, it's just I know people don't people don't rate him. It is what it is. I rate him. I think he's fine. Don't want to risk MDL if he's not fit enough. That would be my concern. He's got that knee injury. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing, Additive, aside from injuries, right? When Euro is back, I think it'd be interesting to pull him versus Ligt and Højlund versus Xerxes. But, yeah, best team at the start of the season, see how it changes. I think this is pretty much... That's a good point, though. Good point, yeah. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. This is preferred. This is your preferred choice. All right, that one was pretty easy. Didn't have to take that long. You know, Ligt clearly won. Rotation is key. Yep. Like, I think this is the preferred team for most people, if I'm not mistaken. I'll do something here. I will do something here at the end really quick. I will, just because somebody asked for it. We're going to do Onana versus Bayindir. Oops, can't type. My bad. Just for the hell of it. This is your preferred team. This is your preferred team. Onana's winning heavily, but Bayindir's getting a decent amount of votes. Clearly. Yes. Preferred choice. It is, because it still needs to be realistic. It still needs to be realistic. It just needs to be realistic. Look, you want me to be you want to be happy? Okay. All right. I'll do it, and it's not going to change anything. Okay, Onana wins that pretty much. I'm going to do 3 more little polls. Okay. Ready? All right. Go ahead. See let's see if you guys would actually prefer Harry Hamas to start over Mazraoui. No. So it's still Mazraoui. So there you go. Same outcome. Okay. Let's do. So this is the team. Okay, this is the team. Right now, this is what we have. This is our favored team for, United. This is the preferred team right now. Now, there's two more choices that we have that I am curious to see. Okay, here's what I would say. Because I want to know your thoughts. In terms of our best team, what do you think here? Yeah, preferred, yep. I feel like this is going to be fairly close. Højlund versus Xerxes. It's pretty close. That's pretty close. Yeah, close. I think that's fair. It's 50-50. Yeah, I mean, it's not 50-50. It's slightly in favor of Rasmus Højlund. I think that's fair. We've seen him. We've seen what he can bring. He's a good player. With Xerxes, we haven't seen him yet. I think that's fair. So, we would have in this team, as a preferred team, we'd have Højlund here at the start, right? Then, one more. Let's see it. Who would be your preferred out of Euro and Ligt? I have a feeling Euro wins this one, if I'm honest. I think the excitement over Lenny Euro is at the peak. Even with his injury, I think everybody thinks he's gonna be the top guy in the end. Even though that's not a slight on De Ligt, I think Euro's gonna win this. Yeah. I did Garnacho on the left on the other option. I put him there. Yeah, I did. Rashford won that one. I did. I put Garnacho in that option. I put Garnacho on the left and on the right in the votes. He lost both. I think that's a little unfair on him, but it is what it is. Oof. Euro has a higher ceiling. Exactly. I'm with you. Yeah, so it's close. It's close, understandably, but De Ligt. So look, this is the preferred team for tomorrow. Okay? This is the preferred team for tomorrow. Based on the votes. This is the preferred team overall for United right now. And I think that anybody that we sign will be yeah, I think that anybody that we sign for the 6 would come in here, right? But this would be, based on your votes, the preferred team. I could put Luke... that's a good point. Good question. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Good point. All of our injured players. Shaw and Mazraoui. If Mazraoui's won that one in the first place, then yeah, probably Shaw wins this one, right? I thought people would be fed up with Shaw by now, anyway. But good point. He will be back. It's going to be Dallo for Mazraoui. I mean, I can poll it if you guys want. Yeah, this one's pretty solidly Shaw. Good point. Okay. So the 3 injured players we'd like, the chat would like to be. This would be the preferred 11. But he can't stay healthy. I can do this. I don't think it's going to change this, though. Here, last poll, and then we're going to end it. It's gonna be Dallo, right? It should be Dallo, in my opinion. But at least until we've seen Mazraoui play a little bit in the Premier League. So we did Garnacho and Ahmad already on the right. People picked Ahmad. People did. Okay, so this is your preferred team. We can come back to this video. Okay, we can come back to this video next week and say this was our preferred team for the next game. Lindelof versus Lissandro. No, thank you. Yeah. Stop the count. Right? So this is the preferred team. Based on votes, this is the preferred team. Okay, for the season. Now we're missing 3 of these players right now. If we get a 6, they'll come in here. I think people are pretty happy though with Mazraoui here. I think people are pretty happy with Xerxes, and I think people are happy with Ligt. Like this was close. Højlund, Xerxes, Euro, Ligt was pretty close. So I think everybody was pretty happy. So we're 1 player off, like mostly everybody being happy, right? I think we're mostly happy with it. So yeah, that's pretty good. For the most part, this is what people want. You know, Xerxes and Ligt was close to 50-50, so I think it's pretty good there. Get a midfielder in, then I think we have a really good team. So we'll come back to this video later on and say, you know, that's where we were at, that's what we were thinking, that's what we wanted, and how does that change as the weeks go by? I think that would be a really interesting discussion each game to see how do we prefer the next lineup, and then look at it in a month and say, what's our preferred team now? Does this change? Does it change up front? Does it change in the midfield? Does it change at the back? Are some people performing? I think would be really interesting. Okay, that was a fun thing. Great preferred team, but now how strong is that bench, which is what we need? Yeah, well, okay, really fast because I gotta end this and get back to doing some stuff. When fit, this means you have Xerxes, Garnacho, Mount, Mazraoui, Ligt, and Maguire on your bench. I think that's a really solid bench. It's a little light in the midfield. If you get Ugarte, then Casemiro would be on the bench, right? But I think that's a pretty solid bench. A lot of attacking play, a lot of threat. Mount, Xerxes, Garnacho, Sancho, right? Sancho. Sorry, Jaden. We all forgot about you again. Jaden, Xerxes. I mean, you have Jaden. Look, I'm just gonna say this: you have Sancho, Xerxes, Garnacho, and Mount. That front 4 alone could start games, and probably do quite well. You have McTominay. You've got Maguire. It's a solid bench. Mazraoui, that's a solid team. I mean, that's a solid bench. That is a solid bench. Anthony, Bayindir, that's a very solid bench overall. That is definitely what I would call depth. A lot of game changers on that bench. Okay. All right. I'm going to end it there. That was really fun. I think that was a cool exercise. I hope you all enjoyed hanging out. We will be here tomorrow for this. We will do the pre-match live, and then we will do our we will do the pre-match live, and then we will have the watch along. There's a link below. Sign up, all of that. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you very much. Let's see. Hopefully United get this midfielder over the line in the next week or so. And hopefully we do really well. Southampton getting Ugarte. Nice. Good signing for them. That may change that prediction. Thank you all. Again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you all so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evenings and your days and your weekend coming up. And tomorrow we are back. The Premier League is back. We are back tomorrow. Okay? Good night.